Panama isn't just a lovely country, it's a power move. In my most recent visit, I wanted to uncover why this small country is making big waves in global trade. Let's meet the people on the ground who are helping businesses break borders and scale smart. I'm Samí Haiman-Marrero, and welcome to Global Access Panamá. Let's go! I'm here, Griselle. Safe landing. Yes, and we're on our way to pick you up. Can't wait to see you, Mama. Okay, bye. What's preventing many small to medium-sized businesses from scaling? It's ease of access. I visited Expo Comer 2025 to tap into the knowledge of Panama's logistics experts who make the possibility of global expansion seamless. It's not just about moving goods from here to there. It's about moving from being stuck to growing. The world is in full display in Panama. Hola, we're here with Griselle Colón, founder and CEO of TXL Exports, and she's right here in the heart of Panama City. Hi, Griselle, how are you?
I'm doing great now that you're here, Samí. I'm so excited that you made it to Panama.
Yes. I've only been here for 2.5 hours, but we already took a sneak peek of the Expo Comer setup at the convention center, and it was nothing short of phenomenal. And so I'm just curious, Griselle, because you've been here already for a hot minute, and I know that you set up shop here, right,
correct,
to really focus on supporting business owners that are small to medium sized in gaining access, this global access through Panama. We see a lot of multinational companies. I mean,
right.
When we were on the floor, we saw Nestle, for example, right?
Yes.
Like big brands,
yes,
that are going to be exhibiting there.
Correct.
Those are individual showcases, though, right? But then we see so many international brands,
yes,
that I had never heard from, and they're heavily investing. I mean,
absolutely,
they're not messing around with
no,
these setups, right? And so then what would you say are the key sectors that are kind of like the low-hanging fruit for business owners that might be small to medium size, based out of the U.S., that might want to scale globally and have that global access through Panama?
Well, look, first and foremost, the Panama Canal is about consumer packaged goods, right? So when we travel to the Caribbean or Central America, you can't help but notice that U.S. brands are everywhere, but they're there because they came through the Panama Canal. So if you are a small or mid-sized business that has any type of consumer packaged goods, it could be apparel, it could be shoes, it can be games, it can be just about any good that you would find in a retail establishment, fair game. You might be a food producer, right? Right now, there is a very high demand for organic foods, gluten-free foods, unique food that speaks to digital nomads that are now growing populations, not just in Panama, but in Costa Rica, in Ecuador, and all of the countries that surround Panama. If you are in the medical space, medical equipment, diagnostics, disposable medical supplies are always in high demand, not only here, but in the surrounding countries as well. There's a conversation that is going on about a growing opportunity to develop a pharmaceutical cluster here because of the biodiversity here in Panama. They have a little piece of the rainforest that goes through Panama, through the Darien. And so there's constant discoveries of a variety of plants that contribute to all of these products. So I would say, Samí, the list is too long. Sky is the limit. Raw materials come through Panama, right? Automotive comes through Panama. So any small and mid-sized business that is looking to expand outside of the U.S. into the rest of the Americas should really explore the benefits and the incentives that are offered through the Panama Free Trade Zone.
Yeah, and it's fantastic that you've been here already going on 3 years.
Going on 3 years.
On 3 years, and I really applaud you for really taking your time to learn the business ecosystem.
Yes.
And also the who's who, right? And so I think that you've been very focused and meticulous about vetting who are the key players and the subject matter experts here locally that are bilingual.
Yes.
And that also have not only the academic expertise, but also the experience, right? That they're seasoned professionals in logistics, in manufacturing, in distribution, in transportation, in shipping.
Yes.
I mean, there's so many components.
Yes.
Thank you for inviting me to the Saturday session.
Wasn't that great?
It was amazing.
Yes.
With Ramon Poveda. We're looking to do a quick interview with him as well. And I was just fascinated about how he was able to just break it down in lay terms about all of the aspects that are essential to be able to do this import-export game, right? Whether you're a small player or, again, a multinational, in an effective, productive, and also cost-efficient way. And
Correct.
so tell me a little bit about what that experience was to first come here, and then what made you say, okay, wait a second, there's an opportunity that I need to make happen.
Absolutely. You know, when I first came to Panama, I was working with Black Innovation Alliance, a nonprofit in the United States that promotes entrepreneurial ecosystems. And one of my assignments led to working with the U.S. Department of Commerce in the International Trade Administration to promote a global diversity export initiative. And that's where the idea was born of opening the export opportunity for small and mid-sized businesses. As Samí said, most of the infrastructure here is designed for the multinational, for the Nestle's, the Coca-Colas, the Procter & Gamble's, all of these huge companies that distribute tons and tons of product. But that does not mean that there's not an opportunity for the small and mid-sized business as well. And so once I established that partnership, I started to lean in, and I participated in a trade mission sponsored by the International Trade Administration. And I have to tell you, Samí, I was a little disappointed. There were about 200 companies that participated in that trade mission, many of them women-led companies. And as I did recognizance months after the trade mission, I was disappointed to hear that none of the businesses that I met walked away with a deal. None of them walked away with that first purchase order for them to start their export journey. And there's a number of different reasons for that. So I decided to form TXL Exports with a very particular focus on industry. So rather than doing a trade mission with every industry, we're doing accelerators specific to industry so that we can bring buyers to the table, and that can be the first experience any entrepreneur has in the accelerator. Once you have that purchase order, exporting becomes very real, and that's when people like Ramon, people like Sif Express, our logistic partner, people like Giovanna Bernal, our legal counsel, they are all fully vested in the idea of helping small and mid-sized businesses with establishing themselves in a free trade zone so that they can expand and scale in the Americas.
Globally. And that's why it's global access, acceso global. You know, when you start to think, and I mean, you could just look at the numbers, find the numbers. When you think about the fact that less than 2% of all procurement dollars whether it's government or in corporate, go to Black and Latino owned businesses in the U.S. And that's before, let's call it the change, right?
Right.
So then right now it's going to be much less than 2% is my assumption.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
Given the rhetoric, given the policies that are being implemented, and given the pushback, right? And so then at this point, I'm thinking, I feel in mi casa. Griselle, I have to tell you, I'm delighted. I can't even wait to hit the expo floor tomorrow.
No, I know there's going to be so much to see, so many people to meet. And we should say, you know, this expo covers tourism, it covers electronics, technology. So there's really going to be a lot to see. I don't know. I hope we get through it all, because I know you're going to want to talk to every single person that's there.
Yes, I'm really excited, and just to be able to walk into this and explore and pioneer in this space, you know, with you hosting us, right? And accompanying us, I think it's fantastic. So I thank you.
It's an honor. No, it is an honor. And I have to thank you for the face that you've placed in TXL Exports. So can't wait. Tomorrow's going to be great.
I know. I'm so excited.
The role that Panama plays in international trade is completely understated, and we're going to change that.
Yes, we are. We've been standing here for literally about 15 minutes, and the constant flow of people is incredible. And all of the languages that you hear, it's impressive. They're coming from all over the world, and they're here to do some serious business. Every time I talk to a small business owner and they ask me for advice, I tell them the first thing you need to do to start your own business is to get a good lawyer and accountant. And so nothing's different here in Panama. And today we're going to be talking to Giovanna Bernal. She's a lawyer and also an accountant. Hola, Giovanna.
Hola.
And her office is called Prime Solutions Tax and Legal, and she specializes in exactly that, helping businesses that want to do business here in the free trade zones and in Panama do it correctly. Thank you.
Thank you, Sammy. Thank you so much for this. Indeed, yes, the founder of Prime Solutions Tax and Legal is a law firm, but also an accounting firm that offers accounting, taxes, the setup of Panama LLCs and corporations for international U.S. investors or the small and medium companies that want to do business in Panama.
Right, exactly. And so then you know who I'm going to be calling in like a few weeks just to get my stuff straight here. Pero Giovanna, I really wanted to ask you about why is it so important to have someone that is skilled in the legal processes here in Panama, especially for people coming from the outside, right, to do business here and to really understand, right, that you need to align with all of the regulations and make sure that you meet the requirements to do business here.
Exactly. I think it's super important to contact an attorney which acts in Panama as a registered agent. The attorney will take care of the setup, of course, all the advisory on setting up a business smoothly, getting all the paperwork that is necessary to set up a company. In Panama, we can set up LLCs and corporations, and we'll do that so it will be done in the less time as possible, right? That's important to hire an attorney. In Panama, it's important to hire an attorney because it's mandatory for a registered agent to be the representative on a company. So that's also super important. And the attorney will make sure of the paperwork, that you have the correct shares, the information on the company, the compliance, and the annual documents that needs to be submitted, the accounting records, the tax forms if are necessary. If you are in a free trade zones, there are also some reports that need to be submitted. So that is important, you know, to rely on an attorney for the advisory and also for the maintenance of your company, and also an accountant as an advisor as well. The first step when someone wants to establish a business in Panama or expand their business, because they already have a business in the US and they want to expand, is the setup. Set up and decide whether it's better to set up as a corporation in Panama with a subsidiary perhaps in the US, or you can set up as a LLC, similar like the LLCs that are established in the US. And besides that, and then the paperwork, the licenses. We have in Panama aviso de operación, which is the business license to operate locally. And there are also licenses to operate in Colón free trade zones. There are also the manufacturing, the other free trade zones that are in Panama, Panama Pacifico. Every free trade zone has its own license. And then, of course, the company has to have the e-invoicing system, to operate, invoice its clients, and the annual, bookkeeping as standard. It's quite similar, like in the US, but I think it's simple. We were discussing about the reporting and the tax laws change so quickly, right? But in Panama, our tax system is very simple. It's territorial. That brings a lot of incentives for those that take advantage of the foreign income not being taxed.
Yeah.
And also, well, that makes it very convenient for US citizens as well, or US investors and companies that wants to do business here.
That's great. And so what is that process like in terms of establishing the business, and how long does it take?
Well, the setup takes about a week or two. Besides receiving the paperwork for due diligence, the registered agent in Panama needs to know the client,
Right.
For AML purposes. We need to know who is the owner and what's the income's coming from and all that. Once we accomplish this, the business will be ready within a week.
Wow.
It's quite fast. And then the process to get the license. The license can take, depending, if it's a local license, about no more than 1 week. And if it's another type of license from a free trade zone or Colón or other special regime, can take months.
Right.
Because it's a longer process that needs more review and explanation.
Right. Is there a difference on whether the company is looking to do business anchored in a product versus professional services in terms of the time frame, or it doesn't matter?
No, it doesn't matter. In Panama, we have, it's the same type of entity, same type of business license. And then if you're bringing a product, you might think of also register a trademark. If it's a service, well established with the regular paperwork, but it's the same. It's the same.
Right. Okay,
Much less.
great. And so then a lot of people are hesitant, right? Because they don't know. You have multinationals that are doing business here, but we're talking really to small and medium-sized businesses that might be a little hesitant to scaling globally and to come to Panama, for example, right? Because of stories, things that they hear, right? About, the political climate or the economy and its stability and corruption and all of these things that, quite frankly, exist everywhere, right? You experience this in any country. But what would you say about how that is handled here and the accountability piece, right? Of who's watching and monitoring this behavior?
Exactly, it's true. The ones that take most advantage of these special regimes that we have to offer are the multinational companies. So the small and medium-sized companies needs to know, and this is good that we're doing this, so they can also know that they can take advantage, expand their business, and they can know that they can find clarity and a clear process on how to do things. And this is why it's good to rely on professionals that can make their journey easier when establishing or expanding or relocating a business to Panama, or expanding as well. Because yes, it's like you said, a lot of people don't know about Panama, about what we have to offer. And it's a very good location to start and grow a business to Latin America, South America, Central America, because of our location.
Right.
It really will help you grow your business through Latin America and expand locally, taking advantage of the tax incentives that we have to offer.
Yes, totally. And we've learned, right, through our visit here, that you can import and export using maritime, air,
Yes.
the trains, right? So there's so many different ways. And so do you provide counsel also and guidance as to what are the pros and the cons of using each one of these forms of transportation?
Yes, we rely on professionals that can give that advice. There are logistics companies in Panama. We also provide advice on taxes. So the investor can understand everything before making an investment about the legal, the accounting, the logistics, and what's necessary, to start and continue a business, and also to decide which free trade zone is more for me. We can also refer a specialist that can do that.
Yes, totally. Because it's all about the budget, right? And making sure that if you're going to start something, that it's also sustainable.
Exactly.
Right? And so I heard that you're part of an organization that helps keep an eye on the activity to make sure that everything is legitimate.
Exactly.
And that everyone's at their best behavior. And so tell me a little bit about that.
Yes, it's an ONG, but also a compliance company regulated by the Superintendency of Non-Financial Entities. And basically what we do is that we teach and the companies to prevent money laundering, but we also monitor and observe the companies and teach them, how to know their client and how to prevent activities that leads to money laundering. Also, we are part of an alliance that's called Praxity. It's a very group of accounting firms that we also, for the accounting, the taxes, and also the audit on the companies, more on the tax compliance and the accounting compliance on the companies as well.
Okay, great. Because in essence, if someone's books are okay, for the most part, you think, right? Or the expectation is that they're going to be an okay business partner too, right?
Exactly.
Okay, great. And so then what advice would you give people that are still like up against the fence or thinking about, is this right for me? Like small and medium-sized businesses that are thinking, wow, can I go global? Is it even possible for me to go global? What would you tell them to do first?
I would tell them not to be afraid, contact the right people, do the research, and get to learn, what Panama has to offer and how you can grow your business, taking advantage of the resources, that Samí has to offer, all her contacts, so you can give this move smoothly and make the right decision before you start a business. I think that's the most important thing. Then that once you make the decision, do your research and decide what to do, where to go, how to do it, we as professionals can help you, with the setup, the formalities, the boring part. So you can just focus on what you want to do, which is grow your business, make money, and be successful.
So Giovanna, what you're telling me is that it is possible to do business in Panama and that it's actually not that complicated at all.
Exactly. You have to see it with your own eyes. Come to Panama, visit what we have to offer, and get in contact with the right professionals so you'll know that you can do business in a simplified way.
Thank you. And you see, that's it. This is possible. And I'm glad that we have this moment with you, Giovanna, so you can give us that confidence that we need, right? To know that there's the legal and the accounting expertise that we need to start off on the right foot.
Exactly. Thank you so much for inviting me, Samí.
Thank you. I'm here with Kirk Barnes, CEO of TransPharMed, and he's a buddy, a friend who just flew in from Atlanta. Welcome,
Yes,
Kirk.
Good to be here, fam. You can't get rid of me.
No, I can't. You can't get rid of me.
Right.
We've collaborated on a couple of projects, right, throughout the years, started in the pandemic, and then who knew, right, that we were going to be here, brought together by our dear friend, Griselle Colón. And what brings you here to Panama?
So trust, walking on faith, and opportunity from our mutual friend, Griselle. And as we started talking about the opportunity here, and specifically around the medical devices, health tech, and pharmaceuticals, that's more of my background. And just serendipitously, it just happens to be that Georgia Tech's present here, is tightly connected to the work I've been doing with Georgia Tech in Atlanta for the past 5 or 6 years. I helped launch the health tech vertical at the incubator on Georgia Tech's campus in Atlanta that serves the entire state of Georgia. So thinking about all these cumulative experiences and then the mystery of what we could do here in Panama. And it takes Griselle to put this together. And then she told me you were involved. And I was like, okay, I know I have to be involved. So, but that's why I'm here.
And it's that entrepreneurial spirit, right?
Absolutely.
That drive that makes you be curious.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
And I just feel like it feels like home. What's your experience been here so far?
Yeah, well, I think that Griselle is like the new Kevin Bacon. You know, like everything is one step removed from Griselle. I say that jokingly, but seriously, from my first trip down here, it felt like I was able to walk into an ecosystem where we have universities, we have Georgia Tech, we have City of Knowledge, we have logistics partners already at our fingertips. And so the mystery of this is how do we put this all together so that we not just build a business, but we solve a problem that helps patients here, that helps the businesses here, and bring a lot of the great work that we're doing with the companies based in the United States, do that here and even have a reciprocal relationship between what we're doing in the United States and the opportunity of what we can do in healthcare, medical device, pharmaceuticals, and innovation here in Panama.
Yeah, and the reception so far, how does it feel?
It feels like home. It feels like home. I think, you can say that it feels like home, but then when you see people that look like you see people that talk like you, different language. I'm not fluent in Spanish. I know enough to be dangerous. Muy poquito. But they're my people. And so to come down here, it just feels like I fit right in, even though I don't speak the language. The love is here, the opportunity is here, and then having somebody really bridge that ecosystem.
Papa, you got me here.
I got you here. So it feels like this is an extended family, and I so look forward to coming here. I just flew in this morning. Normally I'd be tired, but I feel very energized from the city, from the people, Griselle, and of course you, my good friend as well.
Yeah, you see, so then Kirk is amped now, right? And he doesn't even know half the story. So you don't know, because I got here yesterday.
So you know how these stories usually start. So see what had happened was.
Yeah, so see what had happened was that I pimped you out. Oh, you don't even know what just happened. So you want to hear the news?
Oh, this is how we doing this?
Yeah, we're doing this.
All right.
Yes,
so,
you want to hear the news?
You might as well now.
So we had an amazing dinner last night, and it turns out that a group of students that are working on an innovative project, okay, and they're exercising their entrepreneurship that is medically anchored. So it's in the healthcare space.
Okay.
And so we told them that you were coming, and she got so excited and asked if tomorrow evening you could serve as a bouncing board, like a sounding board, to hear them pitch, because they're going to be doing this pitch at the World Economic Forum.
Oh, wow.
And they're gonna lean on you, Baba, to be their sounding board and give them tips on how to improve their pitch so that way they can excel.
This is what happens when these two get together and I'm not around. It's like this comes up, but the answer is on camera. Absolutely. I would absolutely love to do this. I love helping innovative companies. The answer is 100%. Absolutely count me in. I'm all in.
And
so
yes, and we already saw the preview of the deck. It's for students. It's obviously a STEM project because, it's in this sector.
Yep.
And what really wowed me is that of the 4-person team, 3 are women. Which is something you really don't see much, right? And that we really want to elevate the presence and the representation of women in STEM. And so thank you for saying yes. I knew you were going to say yes, right?
Anyway, that's why she did.
And
you gotta watch out for her.
You see, and this is how we roll. This is how we roll in Atlanta. This is how we roll in Orlando. And now this is how we roll in Panama. We're showing you what's possible on the global stage, and it doesn't matter what stage your business is in. Whether you're ready to launch, scale, or explore, we're here to guide you through all of it. Reach out, connect, and let's expand globally together.